What's going on, YouTube? This is Mike here, and I have my partner in crime, Mr. CA3 Sports Talk. What up? What up, though, man?
What up, though?
Hey, man. I'm excited. I'm excited for this talk because, first off, we're going to debunk the Bleacher Report, who gave us the 5th worst grade in the NFL when it comes to off-season moves this year. I think that's straight ridiculous.
Yeah, very ridiculous.
What up, though, Sweden? What up, though, Nicholas Aaron, man? We got a good one for you. First off, we're going to go through all the news, what's going around the NFL, same with the NFC North, and then we are going to tear up the Bleacher Report for giving us a terrible grade, and they don't understand what's going on in the NFL. Folks, sorry for my voice. I'm coming back from being sick. I've been sick pretty bad lately, and so my voice is a little off. And I'm just trying to make it through this thing. What up, though, Luke G? What up, though, Lions fan 75? So, man, you ready to get into this, CA?
Oh yeah.
All right, man. So let's just jump straight into this thing. So it looks like when it comes to NFL news, the Eagles waived Johnny Holton. No big deal there. Amari Cooper and Dak Prescott are working out in the offseason, obviously. No big deal there. Donovan McNabb says it's unfair to criticize him for expressing Eagles' opinions. I think that dude's a little soft. The XFL is not going to test for marijuana. Well, may not test for marijuana for their players. I actually agree with this. I think when it comes to marijuana and the substance, it's not as bad when it comes to alcohol and other substances. I was addicted to opioids because of my spine injury in the Army. And that's a lot worse than marijuana. So what do you think about that, CA3?
Yeah, to me, man, I hang around a lot of people who do weed. But me, like, I don't really see how weed is any worse than smoking a cigarette or or doing alcohol. I don't see how it's worse. This is my opinion.
I actually don't think it's. I think alcohol is worse than marijuana. Again, there's a lot of people that it deals with medicinal uses. There's individuals that need it for seizures. I see a lot of stuff like that when it goes on, and kids will have seizures 100 times a day, and they'll take some of that, the marijuana, they'll take the ingredients of that, and it will stop their seizures. So I think for stuff like that, it's really good for those individuals. And players, they deal with injuries and pain a lot throughout a season. So it'll give them a chance to rest their body, and they don't have to take opioids. And I can tell you from personal experience, opioids to the NFL is a lot worse than marijuana because I took 5 Vicodin a day for 7 years, and it makes you addicted, and it's hard to get off.
Yeah, I don't do drugs, man. So I try
That's
to
good. That's good. You got to keep it that way. Got to keep it that way.
Oh yeah.
All right, man. So it looks like the Chicago Bears are still having a competition at kicker. They had 4 kickers in camp. Now they're down to 2. Dang, man. I don't know what's going on with them. They just can't find a kicker for that team. So not big-time news there, but it's interesting to keep an eye on.
If my kicker was that bad, I would do the same thing, man.
Yeah. What up, though, Troxel Sports? What up, though, Beast Mode? And it looks like the Vikings make Stacy Keeley signing official, and they waived an Adam Biznodi, some unofficial player. So it looks like when it comes to SB Nation Minnesota Vikings, this is a potential player that actually could make their team. So it's something to keep an eye on. They're looking at him, and for a player, they believe that he could potentially be on their team for 53. It's not a huge deal. So when it comes to the Green Bay Packers, the fan base is optimistic about the Matt LaFleur hiring, and they believe their team is on the rise. Yeah, I don't believe their team's on the rise. I think they're on the downfall.
Nope.
What up, though, Detroit Drew?
Yeah, I don't see how it got any better, man. I don't see it. I'm sorry, I don't see it.
I don't see it either, man. Rashawn Gary, I don't think it was a good pick. And I don't know, man. I just see their team. They're making desperate moves for a desperate team, and I just simply don't see them doing well. I see them taking 4th in the NFC North this year.
Yeah.
All right, man. Now we're going to get it. The whole reason why I wanted to do this early was because I want to talk about this Bleacher report that they did about teams. Now, the Bleacher report, Mr. Gary Davenport, he gave the 5 worst grades to an off-season teams. And guess who came in at the 5 worst? Detroit Lions. So we're going to rip this guy up, man. I don't know what this guy's thinking, but we're going to dissect this report and this write-up that they did about the Detroit Lions. So I'm quoting this guy. In fairness, the Detroit Lions didn't have a disastrous offseason. His first line is saying the Detroit Lions did not have a disastrous offseason. What in the heck? What? Are you kidding me? We did not have a disastrous offseason. That is how you're going to start this article. How is it even bad? I would like to know that. How is this offseason not fantastic when it comes to that first sentence right there? It makes no sense to me. So ridiculous. When it comes to the free agent moves, Trey Flowers was ranked number 1 or number 2 best free agent on the market, and Detroit Lions picked him up. And when it comes to Coleman, the cornerback, he was the best cornerback when it comes to cornerback 3 on the market, and we got him.
Yeah. So, you see how he tried to throw shade at that Trey Flowers pick in that article? He said, Trey Flowers is a good pickup, but he don't have double-digit sacks. Like, come on, man.
If a defensive player was only picked up for sacks, then teams would just simply be going for sacks instead of stopping the run. When it comes to picking up Trey Flowers, the reason we gave him this money was not because of sacks. It had nothing to do with that. It had the fact that he understands Patricia's defense and how we are going to implement a team going from a soft team to a championship-style team. You have to train correctly. You have to work hard. You have to be this way to get into the postseason and win Super Bowls and win playoff games. We got him for that fact. He understands the Patriot way, and he is bringing that to Detroit. So it had nothing to do with his sacks. Absolutely ridiculous. And that sentence alone of him not paying any attention to facts, I give him an F simply for that line. What do you say?
And to me, sacks, man, they're overrated, man, because sacks don't show how often you bring pressure. They don't show that.
No, it does not. What up, though, baby suplex? It absolutely does that. And they don't understand. How do you win games? You win it by running the football in superb defense. Sacks, yes, it does help a defense, but stopping the run. Stopping the run is how you do that. Yep. And Trey Flowers' ability to keep the running back in the pocket, keep the quarterback in the pocket, and not do a big run is how you do that. And that's what Trey Flowers brings to this defense.
Yep.
Destroyed him right there. Then he goes on to say the Lions made one bigger splash signing. In addition to Trey Flowers, they gave Coleman, our cornerback. And he's talking about how Coleman, it was not that great of a pick. Okay. Coleman was rated the number 1 cornerback when it comes to cornerback 3 on the defense. How is that not a great pick? It's the best cornerback when it comes to cornerback 3. How in the world is that possible?
Yeah, I don't know.
How can you get an individual that is ranked number 1? There's not a rank above that. Okay? Ranked number 1. And we replaced him with Nevin Lawson, he got replaced. Sorry, we replaced Nevin Lawson with him. Nevin Lawson was the absolute worst. So we take the worst and get the best. How is that not a massive upgrade?
Yeah, I don't understand how that's not a massive upgrade.
It makes no sense to me. So, and then he doesn't even talk about Jesse James, and who I believe was a great free agent pickup when it comes to the tight end position, as we were changing our tight ends that we had last year. He doesn't talk about how Jesse James was completely underutilized at Pittsburgh. He comes to Detroit, where our tight ends played like trash. and he's instantly going to be an impact player simply for the fact, even without his skills, that our tight ends were garbage last year, and he's coming in to be a far upgrade in that position.
Oh yeah. I don't think some people don't realize how trash our tight ends were, man. I don't think people realize it. Some people don't. Could they just say, "Oh, we have more glaring needs than tight end"? Tight end was the worst position last year by far. I don't care what anybody said.
Completely, it was the number one position we need.
Oh yeah.
Tight ends. Our offense was so bad last year with the mixture of KFC and our tight ends that when we got rid of the old ones and we got in the new ones, it's a massive upgrade just on those players alone. Not even talk about the draft yet. I give the Detroit Lions the best free agency. Out of all of the free agency, I gave us the best. Yet, so far, he's given us the 5th worst. So let's not even now talk about free. Let's talk about the NFL draft. Our first pick, we get TJ Hawkinson. Now in here, he says TJ Hawkinson is an eyebrow-raising pick. Yes, he was the best player available at the pick, but when it comes to Detroit, in theory, they give him a question mark of a pick.
Yep.
I don't understand that.
Me either.
TJ Hawkinson was the best player available at the pick. He was a blue chip player in the draft. There's 5 blue chip players, I say, in an NFL draft. And if you can get one of them and you're at the 8th pick and you can get a blue chip player, you just stole the draft. Period.
Oh yeah, you did. And I like how
and yet
I like how Luke G said CJ Anderson or the UDFA don't get an article at all. Don't get that article at all.
Now,
yeah, exactly.
Exactly. It's a great point. CJ Anderson would get an article if it was for another team, but since it's the Detroit Lions, he's a has-been. Now, if he goes to the New York Giants, if he goes to the Cowboys, he's the greatest pickup of all time. But he comes to Detroit, he's the absolute worst. And again, to me, getting C.J. Anderson for the amount we got him for was super cheap, veteran minimum. We now got a 4-headed monster. We completely changed the outlook of our offense when it comes to the run game and picking up these players. I don't know how we're the 5th worst. When it comes to T.J. Hawkinson and Jesse James, and we drafted the tight end, Nada, in the 6th round, we took a position of complete and utter weakness that we had, the tight end position, and transformed that into one of the strongest positions on the team. Yet we're the 5th worst off season in the NFL. That makes 0 sense.
Oh, it makes 0 sense.
I 0 sense. So we had the worst tight end group last year. Now we have the best tight end group probably in the NFL this year. We did not get it upgraded. We had the offensive line last year. TJ Lang was injured the whole damn time. We now get Terrell Crosby, who's not injured, who is going to be healthy. We pick up Bo Benshaw in free agency. Now we took a little bit of a weakness on the offensive line, and we reinforced that to be a strength. We have a strength now at the tight end position, yet we have the 5th worst offseason. Makes 0 sense.
Yep. Makes no sense.
Now we have.
I got a question.
Our running game. Yeah, go ahead.
That's why I got a question for you. I said, you think the signing of Bo it doesn't put pressure on Graham Glassow's job?
It very well could put pressure on Glasgow's job, because you got to think that Frank Ragnow also played center. He wasn't just a guard. He's the ability to play center. And Glasgow, if he doesn't do well, he could probably get. Frank Ragnow can get put in that position, and then that gives the ability for Glasgow could possibly replaced by Bo Benshaw at a guard position. Because in my opinion, Bo Benshaw is a very good guard, and if Glasgow starts sucking, then there is no reason to just simply switch it out. Will it start out that way? No, but you never know, and especially if there's an injury. Now, if Glasgow gets injured and and Ragnow gets thrown at center, Bo Benshaw gets put at guard, that definitely could end that guy's starting career.
Oh, yeah.
Man, so it's driving me crazy when I'm reading this information from these individuals in legacy media who craps on us all the time. So we're going to debunk this moron. So when it comes to, as we've stated, our tight end position was a weakness last year, and now it's a complete and utter strength. Our offensive line was somewhat of a weakness when it comes to the injury, and now it is not injury prone as of now. You can't obviously go to the future, but you can just say now. When it comes to the running back position, we had two spots that were not doing so well. When it comes to Garrett Blount and Theo Riddick, we have now surpassed him with the drafting the fast as hell running back that runs a 4.244, and CJ Anderson, who was a demolishing running back that played for the Rams, to our lineup. So we got Kerryon Johnson, we have Zach Center, we have CJ Anderson, and the fast running back who can also do kick return and or punt return. So again, we have upgraded in the running back position. Yet this guy says that we have not upgraded this offseason.
Yep.
So now let's jump to the wide receiver position. So again, I'm going to go on the fact how he says we had the first worst offseason. Okay, we traded Golden Tate last year. So when it comes to this coming offseason, we had one injured wide receiver in Marvin Jones. Then we had a bunch of lackluster players that simply were not starters when it goes to last season because Golden Tate was not there. So what do? We sign up Amendola to replace Golden Tate. We get Marvin Jones. He's healthy. We draft a 6'2" wide receiver. Yet we had a worse offseason now than we did last year. It doesn't make any sense. We got upgraded. How is that possible?
Yeah, I don't understand how when you upgrade it's a bad offseason.
I don't know. I have no idea. I literally just went through every position. Oh, and let's not talk about the backup quarterback position. Dan Orlowski was trash. He's not even on the team. So by default, that's an upgrade in the secondary quarterback. Oh, and let's talk about the fact that KFC's gone. KFC's gone. Right now, our offseason right there is a plus. Just take everyone else out of the lineup. You get KFC and you remove him as offensive coordinator. Our offensive is much better and upgraded in that front.
Well, I just called what you just said. You said KFC.
KFC, because I don't want to say his name. His name, we're not allowed to curse on these live streams, and his name is a curse word. So I use KFC because he's just trash. He ate up like chicken, man. He's the worst offensive coordinator of all time. And then we get Darrell Bevel, who's a playoff winning, Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator to join our team. How's that not an upgraded?
I don't understand.
Yeah, don't make no sense to me.
He looks like the KFC logo, though.
Hey, that'd be perfect for him. So now let's talk about the defense. So I just went through it and I debunked his crazy notion that we didn't upgrade when it comes to the whole team. I just started on the offense. Let's go on the defensive line. Okay, he says we've not upgraded. Again, Trey Flowers. He was the pickup, the best 1 or 2 free agent pickup in all the draft. We throw him on the defensive end. He's going to play inside and outside. He can also fall back in Patricia's scheme. How's that not an upgrade?
I don't understand. He's one of the top free agents on the market.
313 JMO says losing KFC is the best thing that happened to us this offseason. Absolutely, man. It's the worst thing that happened in the NFC North and the best damn thing that happened to us in the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, it was a great thing.
That dude was trash.
Yeah, because it was a great thing, man. I still remember that. I still can't forget that game. It was at it was the Saints game. What was it? Was that 2017? It was that Saints game. And the commentator was really saying, "Oh, it's a run, it's a pass." I was so mad. I was like, and it actually happened. Like the stuff that he was saying, yeah, it's about to be a run, it's about to be a pass. I'm like, dude.
Every time the Lions offenses were out there, I could predict the play, and I'm a fan. The defense knew exactly what we were going to do. How in the world Do you plan on sustaining drives when the defense knows exactly what you're going to do? The whole point of having an offensive coordinator is the ability to play chess on the field. You have to outsmart the defense and vice versa. When they know what you're going to do, you can't outsmart them. So now you're just simply playing by ability. And that's not how it works in the NFL. So we remove that trash, that garbage offensive coordinator to an actual individual who's won in the league. That's an instant upgrade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I also remember Thanksgiving Day, Tony Romo was saying, "Why is there no motion in this offense?"
Man, that was the worst. That was the worst offensive coordinator of all time. Getting rid of him made our offense far better, far upgrade. And again, this guy has no damn clue. So again, when it comes to defense, we got Trey Flowers. That's an addition. We still have Snacks Harrison. We did not lose him. Yes, that's not getting something in the offseason, but we did trade for him last year in midseason form. So again, now we have the best run stuffer in all of the NFL on our team. We have one of the best defensive ends in all of the NFL on our team who knows our scheme. Join our lineup. We have Deshaun Hand, who is the best defensive tackle last year of all rookies. He's still on the team. I don't understand. We extended our other defensive end / linebacker hybrids who actually played fairly well last year for us that came from the New York Giants. So again, with those signings and those individuals still on the team, I don't understand how we downgraded. It's an upgrade. Ezekiel Ansah is off the team. He was always injured, and now he gets replaced by Trey Flowers, who's not injury prone like him. How is that not an upgrade?
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie, man. When that move first happened, when we got Aguara, I was a little upset. I was like, why would we get rid of Zetto for him? But it turned out we got him because he fit our scheme, man. That's the main. That's why we pick. That's why we pick the people we pick. We make smart picks, not luxury picks. We pick people who fit our scheme. That's the point.
That's the whole point. When you're picking up free agents, unlike the Philadelphia Eagles, where they pick up the dream team, they just pick up players for names. You need to pick up individuals who fit your scheme schematically, who, when it comes to the cap case, when dealing with finances, it's vital to have a good cap amount and specific for each individual. That is how you build through free agency. You're not actually getting your main pieces, but you're getting pieces that is going to get you there when it comes to philosophy, when it comes to training. And this is what they did. This is exactly what they needed to do. In my opinion, this was the best free agency we've ever had that I've been alive.
I mean, yeah, I'm just happy that you're not making picks just because of the names, man. You're making smart picks. I like when I don't really know the name of the player because it shows me that you're doing extra research and that you know what you're picking, that you know what you're doing, and that you're making the smart picks for your team, that people that fit your scheme.
Absolutely, absolutely. And these guys in the mainstream media and these individuals that create these media outlets and they create these reports and they create the news headlines. I don't know if they don't understand what they're doing or if it's just straight clickbait, because it doesn't make any sense to me. The easiest thing in the world is to say, okay, Detroit's going to suck because that's the Detroit Lions, instead of actually studying and looking at what's going on. These people get paid big bucks and they'd have no idea, no clue what's going on. It's unfathomable to me as an individual who does this for fun, and I do not get paid for this. Yet I am watching transactions of other teams as well as our team, and I'm far more accurate than these individuals out there in mainstream media.
Oh yeah, I picked that up, man, right away. Cause I remember ever since I can remember, since I've been in elementary school, I always did my own research. I never really listened to the media, cause I never really
Absolutely
listened to it. I never really believed the media.
Absolutely,
it makes sense to me. A lot of things that were said on the media.
Even as a little kid,
The
man.
media is all up, man, and that's how you grow up correctly. And the media has done so much bad in this world, and now it's just simply going to sports, and it's so frustrating to watch when you're trying to build something correctly, and yet they still keep pandering to their haters and making garbage articles simply for click and views. They have nothing to do with facts. It's just simply clickbait, and it's disgusting. Now, Troxel says, be ready at 8 p.m. Pistons Center Court at 8 p.m. every Friday, or every Wednesdays and Fridays. Yeah, everyone make sure you go to that tonight.
Yeah,
It's tonight at 8 o'clock. It's going to be hella fun with the boys. I think it's going to be CA3, Detroit's Drew, Troxel Sports, and who else is doing that?
313 JMO.
313 JMO, that's right, man. Have fun with that. That's going to be awesome. I'll try to make an appearance there for sure. I'm just not, guys, I'm coming back from a sickness. I've been really sick this week. I got a high fever, and I'm just trying to get on here to talk to you guys so you notice that I'm alive and I'm doing well. And I appreciate all the thoughts and prayers that I've got on my Twitter and emails and stuff. So I really appreciate it. Again, I'm just here, man, and I'm trying to get through this article because it really is frustrating seeing this trash that's put on by the mainstream media. Now, he talks about it was a questionable move by picking up linebacker Jelani Tavai in the second round with the 43rd overall pick. You know what's interesting about this? Because I've read articles when it comes to the New England Patriots. They said the New England Patriots is going to take this linebacker.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. People say, the New England Patriots were gonna pick him, but you know, they could be trying to they could have been lying to the Lions. But you know, man, it doesn't really matter. You know, as long as you're picking the people in your scheme, you know. I mean, I understand why people say it's questionable because you don't know the guy's name. But to me, man, you can't really throw shade at the pick until the guy plays a snap in NFL. That's my opinion.
How many times have we heard individuals that get drafted later, weird or odd rounds, and you go, oh, this guy's going to be a bust, end up turning out to be a fantastic player? I mean, it's happened to our team. When you look at Galladay, he was called a bust and a terrible pick and a reach. Now Galladay is becoming one of the best wide receivers in all the NFL. I remember we got Deshaun Hand, and they said that guy was a bust. He's not going to do well. Look how he is now.
Yeah.
So this individual obviously is not paying attention to our scheme. He's 6'2" of a linebacker. He makes a 313. JMO made this point, and I'll never forget it because it's such a fantastic point that he made. Is he said he'd be used in the tight end position because of his height. And it's like, dang, that makes perfect sense because our tight end defense was not well when it come reading the tight end. And this guy, he's a power hitter and he's 6'2", and that's what he did was covering tight ends well in college. So to me, this is a scheme pick, a specific need when it comes covering the tight ends, and it brings a powerhouse pain that we've not had on defense.
Yeah,
he's
and
bringing
that
punch you in the mouth.
Yeah, and that was one of our biggest flaws at the linebacking core. We didn't really have a linebacker that could really cover. You know what I mean?
And exactly. And this is how Patricia's scheme works. He's not drafting players for namesake. He's drafting players, and he's putting players around this team, whether it be a free agency or whatsoever, simply for scheme. And that's what he's doing. And yet we got the 5th worst grade. And it makes no sense. Might as well just jump into the secondary. To me, in my opinion, we have the best secondary in all of football. I made a hype video when it comes to our secondary because I'm so psyched to watch our defense make tons of picks, interceptions, and make plays and playmaking ability this year that the NFL is going to be lit. And yet we have the 5th worst offseason move. When it comes to Coleman taking Lawson's place, it comes to Darius Slay still being in there. When it comes to picking Amani, Aru Ray, whatever his name is, I destroy his name in the 5th round, who should have been a 2nd round pick. when it comes to Diggs and Walker taking over the Quinn spot, this defense, this offseason, when it comes to this defensive secondary, is fantastic.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We have
Now,
depth.
what is your favorite part when it comes? What was your favorite pickup when it comes to this secondary?
Oh, to the secondary?
Yeah.
It's got to be the 5th round pick, man. Because I didn't think we had a chance at him. I mean,
absolutely,
he shouldn't have slipped to the 5th round. Because I remember watching. Because I remember watching this guy. I remember Penn State was on upset alert against Appalachian State, and then this guy comes out of nowhere and snags an interception out of nowhere and closes out the game.
Man. I mean, we got a potential starter day one who will be on this defense, whether he plays full-time or partially initially, in the 5th round, who should have been a 2nd round pick. We have probably the best 1-2-3 combination of quarterback. We have the best depth at the cornerback and the safety position that we've ever had in all of football. And yet, this guy says we are no better now than we were last year at this point. How is getting rid of Nevin Lawson, who is the absolute worst cornerback of all time, to getting the best 3rd string cornerback last year to put on our defense to play nickel and play secondary, and getting a cornerback in the 5th round who should have been 2nd round, not an upgrade?
Yeah, I don't understand.
No sense. Absolutely no sense. This article is the most garbage article I've ever read when it comes to any information. This basically says here, he goes, the 2019 Lions do not look markedly better than the 2018 version. I just went through player by player how we are better. Nevin Lawson, gone. Coleman, in. We got Amani, in. Quinn, who is aging, hurt, out. Walker, in for him. Diggs still playing. We got Ezekiel Ansah, out. Trey Flowers, in. When it comes to running back position, C.J. Anderson, in. LeGarrette Blount, out. Theo Riddick's not officially out, but he will be out. We got a speedster who will replace him. I don't see it. I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
You know, I think our team is remarkably better than it right now than it was last year at this time, for sure. It's not even a contest. Going into last year, I had the Lions having a bad year. I predicted they would have a bad year and then they also didn't even talk about the fact that our coach has now had a full year with the team. And last year we got a new head coach who's doing a new philosophy. When you're doing a new philosophy, it's going to take more than 1 year for them to click, because they're going from a soft team, Caldwell, who is softening the players, to a hard-nosed coach like Matt Patricia, who makes them run more and be outside in the cold and stuff like that they do in the New England Patriots. Now he has his team where he's drafted now. He's got 2 years of draft, and he got individuals from free agency who will replicate the Patriot way. Yet, this guy, this moron, says that our team is not better now than it was last year. It makes zero sense.
Yeah, and see, another thing is, because last year, Matt Patricia, he was coaching during the Super Bowl, so he didn't really get to have a full off season, if you think about it.
Absolutely, and that's a fantastic point. His mind was definitely not on the Detroit Lions when it comes to you're being in the Super Bowl. He had to focus on that team and scheme against the in the Super Bowl, as well as when he came in. He also got drudged out with that rape allegation from his college years, and he had to deal with that type of stuff going around with his family and all sorts of off-season drama. That stuff's gone now.
Yeah, the only reason I brought that up because he went to Detroit. They would never brought that up if he stayed with New England.
Yep, absolutely. I don't understand how, again, this guy says we had the 5th off. I think we may have had the best offseason at all of the NFL when it comes to upgrading talent. going from what we had last year to this year, we're going to make a big jump. Again, we won 6 games last year. I'm saying we win 11. That is almost a 50 or 100% the growth. That's like a 90% growth from last year. To me, that's a big jump. And we're going to have the best offseason this year. What do you think about that? Do you think we had a pretty good one?
Oh yeah, I think we had a pretty good one. My biggest thing is, this is how I look at it, man. If you address needs, and to me, if you address needs and you add more depth, to me that means you got better. That's how I look at it.
And we didn't just, we also with our needs, we did address those needs, and we got so much depth when it comes to injuries. How Quinn built this team, if we have an injury, we have depth, and inevitable it's going to happen. And so it's not a big drop-off. Throughout the year, we're going to get injuries. There's going to have to be a replacement. Bo Benshaw will probably have to play, There's going to be times where the wide receiver picked up in I think it was the 6th round, he's going to have to play because there's probably going to be an injury. That's just inevitable. It happens to every team. He addressed that as well. And I don't understand how this may be the biggest upgrade in one-off season of a team in a long time. I mean, what they did in free agency and what they did in the NFL draft is just amazing when it comes to releasing offense coordinator KFC, when it picking up free agents all over the NFL. I mean, he did a fantastic job.
They did a fantastic job. Yep.
So again, if you guys want to see this garbage article and laugh at it, it is under the Bleacher Report. The title is NFL Teams That Blew It This Offseason by Gary Davenport. Obviously, the guy is not the smartest man in the world, and he definitely destroyed his ability to talk Detroit sports, because obviously he has no idea what in the world he's doing.
Yeah. But see, what makes our point even worse is that if you see what he's writing throughout the article, he's kind of rebuttaling himself throughout the article. If you look what he's saying,
buffed up.
He's saying that T.J. Hawkinson pick raised eyebrows, but in the same article he says that T.J. Hawkinson was the most pro-ready tight end in the draft, and he says he can make an instant impact. So he basically rebutted himself throughout the article, which makes no sense to me. But
how can you have the most pro-ready tight end in the NFL draft join the team? And if he would have went to another team, he would have been a great pick. But since he went to us, he's not great. It makes no sense. Buffed Up now says they're better than last year, but we're not the only team getting better. I refute that. I don't believe the Packers got better at all. I think they got worse. They have another year with Aaron Rodgers, who's banged up. He's 37. Their offseason has been nothing but drama when it comes to him as a leader, as well as when they picked up individuals in free agency was not good. I don't believe they drafted well at all. So I don't know how they got better. I think they got worse. When it comes to the Minnesota Vikings, I don't think they got better. They're going to be trading players away because of the cap hit through Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has destroyed that cap on that team. So they're going to have to get rid of tight end Kyle Rudolph. They're going to have to get rid of one of their linebackers or their defensive end. They've been talking about trading. So to me, that's them getting worse. They don't have the ability to scare teams with a new offense. It's already been shown. There's nothing new there. Now everyone knows the scheme and the schematics they're going to do. So I don't see how they got better when it comes to that fact.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Chicago Bears, how did they get better? In my eyes, they overperformed last year. They did 12-4. I don't believe, if you looked at the last year at the end of their season, teams were catching on to what they were doing. They lost the first round of the playoffs because they've been found out. They had a new head coach with the new scheme. They were ripping teams off with their new schematic. That's how they got to 12-4. They got Khalil Mack, a hell of a player. But again, they did not have a first or a second round pick. So I'm not sure how they got better. I don't understand how that would be getting better. Yes, they're a competent team, but I don't believe they got better.
But see, to me, the Minnesota Vikings are a perfect reason why you should make lottery picks. They're perfect. They're the perfect example because just because they made a lottery pick and got Kirk Cousins and paid him all that money, that's the reason why they won't get much better in recent years because in future recent years because they took all that cap away, just from picking that quarterback when they should have just kept the quarterback they had, who who had a great season, and he just did what they asked him to do. I mean, I don't see why you pay that money for a quarterback who
Buffed Up says the Vikings don't need to do anything. Actually, they do. They have to get rid of their players because they're in cap hell. This is exactly what happened to us a couple years ago when we had Calvin Johnson and Ndamukong Suh and Matthew Stafford. You cannot build a team with cap hell. They are now in cap hell, so they're going to have to get players rid around Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is not a franchise-type quarterback.
Yeah.
He's not an elite top 5 quarterback. He needs those pieces. He needs those pieces now.
Yeah, I was trying to finish my point. What I'm saying was I don't see how you would make a luxury pick and go to quarterback, pay him all that money when your other quarterback who is way cheaper led you to a 13-win season. That just doesn't make sense to me. But
it doesn't make sense to me either. How is getting rid of Kyle Rudolph helping that team better? He was a great tight end for them last year.
I mean, yeah, he's a good tight end.
How is getting rid of their He's a good tight end. You can't argue with that. And they're shopping him. How do you get Barr on their team? They got linebacker Barr. They paid him a big ton of money. And now they're going to have to get rid of pieces on defense as well because they're in cap hell. How does that improve your team? It does not improve your team. A quarterback like Kirk Cousins, who, again, I like personally because he's from my town, but he's not a franchise-type quarterback. You got to put pieces around individuals like himself. They are now removing those pieces around himself. That team's not better. That team is arguably the same or a little bit worse. I don't see how they got better.
To me, they got worse. I don't see how they got any better. I don't see how they improved.
No, I'm not scared of that team. The only team in the NFC North that I could say I'm a little, competitive when it comes to would be the Chicago Bears. I'm not scared of the Packers. I'm not scared of the Vikings. To me, the Chicago Bears are the team we will be competing with. They're a young team, and their cap is not that bad until Trubisky gets paid. And right now, he's not. He's getting paid not much money from his rookie contract, so they can pay the Khalil Macks of the world. They can pay these elite defensive players. But again, I think they overperformed last year. They went 12-4. They're not going to go 12-4 this year. It's just not going to happen. They will go around a 9-10 win team.
Yeah, to me, the Bears are getting better either. I mean, they lost Jordan Howard. They lost some players in their secondary. I don't see how they got better either. Honestly,
they did not. Does anyone really believe the Bears are going to go 12-4 this year or a 13-3? There's no way. Well, we was last in the Buffed Up says we was last in the division, so us improving the most was needed. It doesn't matter if you're last in division or first in division. In the NFL, a person in any team, if you're last in division, can win the division next year. This is how the NFL is developed. This is why you have draft picks when the worst team gets the first pick and so on. Any team in the league can go from last to best, from worst to first. This is how the NFL works. What is it? They say about 40% of teams that are in the playoffs that were not in the playoffs one year, the next year they are. It's about 40%. That's nearly half.
Yeah. I mean, who said a team at the bottom can't go to the top? Nobody. There's no rule that says that.
Absolutely not. I mean, if to look at that fact, look at the Cleveland Browns. To me, I have them winning the division this year. They were the worst team for the longest time, yet now with their good draft picks, their good free agent pickups, and their good contracts that they've been getting, they've made their team compete, and they're going to be a competitive team in that division.
Yeah.
With us, we were smart with our finances. We did not overpay. We did not just pick off individuals for namesake. We got individuals that fit our scheme, that fit what we do, and that help us win. And while the other teams, like the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers is getting beaten up, and he's 37 years old, and he has no weapons around him, their team's going down. With the Minnesota Vikings and their horrible contract they gave out to the quarterback, they can't put talent around him. The Chicago Bears overperform. So, to my eyes, we did the best in the offseason, period.
I mean, yeah. To me, the Chicago Bears' downfall is, man. Their quarterback can't throw. I mean,
Again, he's not a top 5 quarterback. He's a game manager. Trubisky is.
And they lost.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, and they lost their defensive coordinator, man. To me, Mr. Trubisky, he's made out. He was a game manager due to his defense, and his run game. All he had to do was just game manage. That's all they had to do to win, because their defense and running game were so
Broken
dominant.
Lion made a great point. He said Minnesota was overhyped last year, just like the Bears are this year. Nobody picked the Bears last year, and they won the North. Like, nobody's picking the Lions to win the North. This is absolutely true. No one had the Bears winning the NFC North last year, and they came out of nowhere and freaking killed it. And they got 12-4, and they won the NFC North, just like we're getting told the exact same thing. We're having a hell of an offseason. If you ask the other NFC North rival fans, they'll say it. The Lions are having a good offseason. It's no doubt in my mind when you're hearing that from other teams' fans that it's not just Kool-Aid drinking, it's for real.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, man, because I'm listening to these guys that talk about us. They put more respect on us than our fan base. That's sad to me, but
Buffed Up says it's true we are improved, but you act like the Packs add nothing. They did it. I don't know what they did this offseason that
who did they add though?
They added Rashawn Gary in the draft. They did not put. They did get a tight end. What is it in the 3rd round? Who I thought was good, but they did not put the weapons around Aaron Rodgers. And what the problem with the Packers is, Aaron Rodgers is beaten up and broken down. He's been injured the last 3 seasons. He's 37 years old. I have had 6 surgeries myself. I'm 33 years old. I can tell you, when you get older and these surgeries mount up, it is hard to recover, and it gets into the back of your mind. It hurts. It's where you get injured more. It's consistently, and you're not wanting to take the hits. That's what's happening to Aaron Rodgers. He's 37 years old. How he plays the game is a lot of getting out of the pocket and throwing these miraculous plays, but he's getting hit so much, his body's starting to give out on him.
Yeah, I mean, if you keep getting injured, I mean, your body's gonna eventually wear out. That's what anybody in the world.
Anybody. And is that Aaron Rodgers' fault that he's not getting the help that he needs? Absolutely, it's not his fault. But he is a human being, and at 37, when you get hit, anyone that's have significant surgeries will tell you it's hard to recover. It is hard. It is not like you're young again where you can kind of bounce back fairly easy. When you get older, it wears on you. And so when it comes to the Packers, I see them regressing. A lot worse than what people think. I think, again, they're going to be probably I say they're going to be the 4th team in the NFC North. I think they're going to be in the basement this year.
Yeah. Good point, Luke G. Who does Gary replace? Who does Rashawn Gary replace? I don't know who he does.
I don't know either. And they lost. I know Clay Matthews wasn't a big part of their team last year, but I'm sure he was a vocal leader when it comes to leadership skills. And you're saying Rashawn Gary is better than even a banged up and old Clay Matthews? No, I don't think Rashawn Gary's good at all. Yes, he was. I totally agree. Clay Matthews was deteriorating. Yeah, absolutely. But sometimes it's not all about physical skills. It is also about leadership as well. And I don't see them making the big jump. I don't see the acquisitions that they made to make the jump that they needed to. I see us beating them twice next year. Again, we're going to go 6-0 against the Packers.
Yep.
I could see the Chicago Bears beating them twice. I could see the Minnesota Vikings and them going 1-1, but they're not better than the Chicago Bears, and I don't believe they're better than Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings, while Kirk Cousins is not elite, he does have a defense. But to me, I don't know what the Packers are doing. They're just picking players up. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense. To me, the Rashawn Gary was a bad pick. I didn't think he was a good player coming out of Michigan, and overrated. So, again, I think that we have a really good shot in winning the NFC North, and we're going to make some moves this coming year, and it's going to be fun to watch, and it's going to be fun to talk to, and be with the Detroit Sports Alliance going through this year. It's going to be a lot better than last year. It's going to be something to behold and enjoy at the same time. And it's also our job to debunk these individuals that spitting out non-factual reports and non-factual pieces to destroy the fan base's feeling towards this team. And it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's what we're here for.
I just found it funny how you don't see any article pointing out how bad the Packers offense was as a whole last year, even with Aaron Rodgers. Good point, Lucci. I mean, yeah, the offense was horrible last year with even with Rodgers last year for the Green Bay Packers, and nobody points that out. I found that funny.
Buffed Up says twice, oh my God, look at our record against the Pack. Yeah, we're 4-0 in the last 2 years. Last 2 years, we've won 4 straight. You can't look at years 20 years ago. What in the world does that have to do with now? We had Barry Sanders 20 years ago. It has nothing to do with the effects of us now. Absolutely nothing. But you can look at the record of what's going on with Aaron Rodgers and his diminishing health and their lack of players on their team to help the supporting cast. I'm not looking at a vacuum. I'm looking at facts. Aaron Rodgers is 37 years old, banged up and broke. He's been injured the last 2 years. Do you expect him to not get injured this year? Did you guys make a significant upgrade with the second string quarterback? Because he's going to be playing a lot next year. I don't see it.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know why you would go to the past, man. We're talking about the present.
Again, what happened in the last decade or last 2 decades has no relevance to this year. None at all. So, again, the way I see it is that's how I see it. If you don't believe me and you're like, okay, whatever, hold me to it. Again, this live cast, and when I talk about Lions football, I don't delete anything, so you can hold me to it. I say we sweep the Packers this year. We defeat them twice. I say they're going to be in the basement. What up, though, Joseph Murdoch? Thanks for arriving now, and better late than never. I'm trying to just do something really.
Yeah, I say sweep the Packers too.
Go ahead.
That's what I had. That's the only team I have in the North that we sweep is the Packers.
Past when I'm talking about the injuries on your team, I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers. He's been banged up for 2 years straight. He's been knocked out of what? How many games has he played in the last 2 years? He's been knocked out, 7 games the year prior, and this year that affects now because he's injury prone. He's 37 years old. That's what I'm talking about. When it comes to injuries, when you get older, it affects you. That does affect you. What happens when he gets hit and when he receives surgeries and when he has to be out, that affects you. That absolutely does. I've had 6 surgeries, 2 in my neck. I've had a double neck surgery. I'm going to tell you right now when I had my surgery on election night 2016, it affects me now. That is something that affects me for the rest of my life. And I absolutely do things now that I would have not done prior to those surgeries. Okay, so I'm very cautious when I lift weights and everything like that. So that does affect me now. That is something that has affected me. And Aaron Rodgers has been injured the last 2 years. And it is known he's getting older. The body just does not heal like it used to when you're young.
No,
what up, Doe 65? Yeah, man. It's 5:05. I'm not feeling the greatest. I'm gonna give you the last words, and then I'll go to myself. So go ahead, man. What do you want to say to the guys before we get off?
Man, all I have to say is, I guess, just stop feeding in to what the media tells you. You should try to gain your own understanding of certain things, man, and like just do your own research. Don't let the media do the research for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, and I want to show much love to Mr. Buffed Up. Nothing but love, man. This is just how we do. It's a debate. I'm very happy that you decided to be on my channel and debate me about the Packers as well as the Lions. No other NFC North stuff. I value you a lot, so don't think I'm coming at you hardcore or anything like that. It's just a debate, and that's just how we roll. When it comes to the rest of you, when it comes to the media, don't pay attention to the haters. Simply look at the facts, look at the offseason moves that we made, and look at the philosophies that Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia is doing. And that's how we determine how our season's going to go. When it comes to Detroit Sports Alliance, make sure if you're on now or if you listen to this later, to subscribe to all the folks at the round table. That's Luke G, 313 JMO, Gridiorn Blitz, Noble Sports, as well as Mr. Risky's Sports Talk, also as CA3's Sports Talk, as well as Detroit Drew as well, and all the Lions lovers in the YouTube world. And thank you guys for taking the time and listen to us, and I'm going to go lay down and try to get over being sick. So thanks, everyone. Adios.
All right.